All right, so have you ever felt like maybe you're just like one tiny tweak away from unlocking your full potential?
Hmm.
Like if you could just figure out the right way to think, you could manifest all your wildest dreams?
Yeah.
Well, that's exactly what we're diving into today.
Oh, okay.
We're taking a look at It Works.
It works?
Yeah, a book from 1926
Oh, wow.
that claims to have the formula for achieving your deepest desires.
Interesting.
And we've got a stack of interesting sources here.
Oh, cool.
We've got notes on the book's main themes, a study guide that someone put together with quiz questions, even some original excerpts from a digitized copy of that 1926 edition.
It's fascinating how these ideas about like the power of belief have persisted for centuries.
Right.
Even before the modern self-help movement, people were searching for ways to tap into this hidden potential within.
This book, It Works, really boils it down to a simple premise.
Okay.
Knowing what you want and truly believing you can have it is the key. But it gets even more interesting when it introduces this concept of the subjective mind, this force inside us that can supposedly make it all happen.
It's like it's saying we all have this incredible power source within, but most of us just don't know how to activate it.
Exactly. And it doesn't just stop at vague positive thinking.
Right.
It Works gets super specific.
Okay.
Like if you're dreaming of a new car, don't just wish for any car.
Okay.
The book says you have to write down every detail.
Oh, wow.
The make, model, color, even the year you want to get it.
That specificity element is really intriguing.
Right.
When we create like a crystal clear mental image, it's almost like we're programming our minds to be on high alert for anything that could help us achieve that goal.
Yeah.
We start noticing opportunities we might have overlooked before.
Okay, so imagine you've got your super detailed list of desires.
Right.
Now It Works lays out this simple 3-step plan.
Okay.
Write down your desires. Read that list 3 times every day and constantly think about what you want. Seems straightforward enough, right?
Yeah.
Here's the catch.
What's that?
The book insists on keeping the whole plan a secret.
Oh,
Why all the cloak and dagger?
There could be a few reasons for that.
Okay.
Maybe it's about guarding against negativity from others. If you're surrounded by skeptics, their doubts could potentially chip away at your own belief.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's about maintaining a sense of like personal power. Keeping this process as something sacred and intimate between you and your subjective mind.
Makes sense. And, when you're putting all your faith in this unseen force,
Yeah.
it's natural for doubts to creep in.
Right.
The study guide actually addresses this head on.
Oh, okay.
It talks about how people tend to dismiss any success they experience as just coincidence.
I got that promotion, but it had nothing to do with my secret desires. It was just luck.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The book has a pretty powerful response to that, though. It says, when such thoughts occur, doubt and coincidence give thanks and assert credit to your omnipotent power for the accomplishment.
It's like the book is urging us to shift our perspective and acknowledge the role of our beliefs.
Okay.
Even when it's tempting to write things off as random chance.
Yeah.
In psychology, this is called confirmation bias.
Confirmation bias.
We tend to favor information that confirms our existing beliefs.
Interesting.
So if someone already believes this It Works method is bogus,
Yeah.
they'll likely downplay any positive results they experience.
So it's all about consciously choosing to see those successes as evidence that this power is real and it's working.
Exactly. It's like training your mind to recognize the connection between your thoughts and your experiences.
But here's where things get a little tricky.
Okay.
The book warns against desiring things that could lead to negative consequences.
Oh.
Like wishing harm upon someone else.
Yeah.
Or wanting something that would ultimately bring you unhappiness.
That's a crucial point.
Right.
It's a reminder that this isn't just about blindly chasing any desire that pops into your head.
Right.
There's a level of responsibility involved.
Yeah.
It's about aligning your desires with your values and considering the potential impact they could have on yourself and others.
It Works even goes a step further, suggesting that doing good deeds for others ultimately leads to personal gain.
Okay.
Almost like a you get what you give kind of thing.
It's an interesting concept.
Yeah.
Many philosophies and spiritual traditions speak to this idea of interconnectedness.
Yeah.
The belief that our actions, both positive and negative,
Right.
create ripples that ultimately affect us as well.
It reminds me of a story the book mentions about a Dr. Emile Coué.
Emile Coué.
He was known for his work in self-improvement, and he once offered to help people using his techniques during a trip to the U.S.
Interesting.
Some people were totally open to it and thrived under his guidance. But there were others who completely scoffed at the idea and refused his help. And guess what? Those folks stayed stuck where they were, while the ones who embraced his methods saw positive changes.
It's a powerful illustration of how our mindset can either open us up to possibilities or keep us trapped in limitations.
Right.
It suggests that a willingness to try new things, even if they seem a little out there, can sometimes lead to unexpected breakthroughs.
All right, that wraps up part 1 of our deep dive into It Works.
Okay.
We've unpacked the core concept of the subjective mind, explored the book's intriguing 3-step plan, and even touched on the importance of ethical considerations.
Yeah.
But there's so much more to uncover.
There is.
In part 2, we'll delve into the practical techniques It Works suggests for harnessing this inner power.
Oh, cool.
We'll also tackle some of the criticisms and limitations of this approach.
Okay.
So stay tuned. Welcome back to our deep dive into It Works.
Okay.
We've talked about the power of belief and the book's mysterious subjective mind.
Right.
But now I'm really curious, how do we actually tap into this supposed inner power? Does the book give any specific instructions?
It does. It Works suggests some pretty intriguing techniques for putting these principles into practice.
Okay.
One that stands out is the idea of detailed visualization.
Oh, interesting.
It's not just about vaguely wishing for something, but actually creating a vivid mental picture of it.
Okay.
Almost as if you already possess it.
So if I'm picturing my dream house,
Yeah.
I shouldn't just imagine a generic house, right?
Right.
I need to really get specific, like picturing myself walking through the rooms, maybe even feeling the plush carpet under my feet, or smelling freshly baked cookies in the kitchen.
Exactly. The book emphasizes engaging all your senses.
Interesting.
To make that visualization as real as possible, the more we immerse ourselves in that mental image, the more we imprint it on our subconscious mind, which then supposedly starts working to bring it into reality.
It's almost like we're planting a seed in our minds and then nurturing it with these detailed visualizations. But remember, the book is pretty adamant about not sharing those visualizations with others.
Yeah. Why do you think that is? It might be about protecting that delicate seed of belief. If you're constantly surrounded by negativity or doubt, it could potentially weaken your own resolve. The book even suggests that being around like-minded individuals, those who are also on a path of personal growth, can create a more supportive environment for these endeavors.
It's like finding your tribe, people who understand and encourage your journey.
Yeah.
And speaking of journeys, It Works seems to suggest that achieving our desires is an ongoing process, not a one-time event.
Absolutely. It's about constantly refining our desires, adding new ones as we grow, and letting go of the ones that no longer resonate with us.
Right.
This suggests that personal growth is dynamic and ever-evolving.
Yeah.
It's a journey, not a destination.
It reminds me of that saying, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step.
Right.
And maybe It Works is all about taking that first step, then another and another.
Yeah.
Constantly moving forward one desire at a time.
Precisely. And remember, it's not just about material things either.
Right.
The book encourages us to expand our aspirations,
Okay.
to include personal growth, helping others, and making a positive impact on the world.
So it's not just about acquiring stuff,
Right.
but about aligning our desires with something bigger than ourselves.
Yeah.
But one thing that really struck me is the book's suggestion that acts of unselfishness ultimately lead to personal gain. It's almost like this cosmic boomerang effect.
Right.
What you put out into the world comes back to you.
It's a fascinating concept that resonates with a lot of different philosophies and spiritual traditions.
Right.
The book suggests that when we act with generosity and kindness, without any expectation of reward, we tap into a universal law of abundance.
It's like we're aligning ourselves with a force greater than ourselves, a force that rewards acts of giving and service.
Yeah.
And speaking of rewards, the book really emphasizes the importance of gratitude in this whole process of achieving desires.
Gratitude is powerful.
It is.
When we express thanks for what we have, both big and small, we're acknowledging that there's something or someone out there, a force or power, that's helped us get to where we are.
Yeah.
And that helps us cultivate a feeling of abundance.
Oh,
Like we're open to receiving even more good things.
And it's not just about being thankful for what we've already accomplished, right?
Right.
It works suggests we should express gratitude in advance as if those desires have already been granted.
That proactive gratitude is key.
Mm.
It's about shifting our mindset from one of lack
Okay.
to one of abundance.
Yeah.
It's believing that what we want is already on its way.
It's like we're creating a magnetic pole attracting those desires into reality through belief and gratitude.
Exactly.
But let's be real. Doubts and negative thoughts can still creep in.
Yeah, they do.
How do we deal with those when they inevitably pop up?
Doubts are a normal part of being human,
Right.
but it works. Suggests we can overcome them by reaffirming our belief in the power within us,
Okay.
that subjective mind,
Uh-huh.
and by focusing on our desires instead of our fears.
It's about choosing to feed the positive wolf within us.
Right.
The one that believes in our potential.
Yeah,
And in the possibility of achieving our dreams.
exactly.
But what about those times when, despite our best efforts, things just don't seem to be working out as planned? Does the book address that?
It does. It works. Acknowledges that sometimes
Okay.
our desires may not manifest in the exact way we envision them,
Yeah.
or maybe they take a little longer than we expected.
Right.
But that doesn't mean the process has failed.
Mm-hmm.
It might just mean there's a different path,
Okay.
maybe an even better one unfolding for us.
It's like trusting that the river of life will eventually carry us to our destination,
Yeah,
even if it takes a few unexpected twists and turns along the way.
right.
We've covered a lot of ground here.
We have.
Exploring the practical techniques it works suggests.
Hmm.
But I'm also curious about the other side of the coin,
Okay.
the potential downsides or criticisms of this approach.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything we should be wary of?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
While it works, offers some powerful ideas,
Okay.
it's important to approach them with a balanced perspective.
Right.
There are some criticisms leveled at this approach
Mm.
that are worth considering
Okay.
as we move into the final part of our deep dive.
Welcome back to the final part of our deep dive into It Works. We've gone through the core principles, the techniques, and even started to touch on some potential criticisms.
Yeah.
So where do we go from here?
Right.
How do we actually apply these ideas to our lives in a way that feels empowering and also grounded in reality?
Well, that's the million-dollar question. Right.
We've got this map to a treasure chest, but navigating the actual terrain
Right.
is a whole other challenge.
It is.
What do you think are like the most important takeaways from It Works that people can actually use?
Well, the book's emphasis on clarity really struck a chord with me.
Okay.
It's not enough to just have these vague wishes floating around in our heads.
Yeah.
We need to get laser focused on what we truly want.
Right.
Write it down in detail.
Uh-huh.
Almost like we're creating a blueprint for our desires.
It's like setting a destination in our internal GPS.
Yeah.
Without a clear target, we're just driving around aimlessly.
Right. And once we've established that clarity,
Okay.
It Works encourages us to cultivate an unshakable belief that those desires can actually be achieved. It's about trusting that inner power, that subjective mind, and maybe even some larger force at play.
Right.
But we also have to be mindful of the potential pitfalls, right?
Absolutely.
Blind faith isn't always the answer.
No.
We need to balance belief with critical thinking. Right.
And a realistic understanding of how the world works.
It's about embracing the power of possibility without falling into magical thinking.
Yeah.
Or ignoring the very real challenges that exist.
Right. And that brings us to another crucial takeaway from It Works.
Okay?
The importance of taking action.
Oh, yeah.
It's not enough to just sit back and wish for things to magically happen.
Right.
We have to take concrete steps towards those goals, even if they seem small or insignificant at first.
It's like we're sending a signal to the universe.
Yeah,
Hey, I'm serious about this. I'm willing to put in the work.
exactly. But the book also acknowledges
Yeah.
that it's not always going to be easy.
Right.
There will be obstacles and setbacks.
Exactly. Doubts might creep in, fears might surface, and external circumstances might throw us off course.
Of course.
But It Works encourages us to see these challenges not as reasons to give up,
Right.
but as opportunities for growth and learning.
It's like those strength training workouts.
Uh,
The more resistance we encounter, the stronger we become.
Right.
And speaking of overcoming challenges,
Yeah.
the book's emphasis on gratitude really resonated with me.
Gratitude is so powerful.
It is.
It shifts our focus from what we lack to what we have,
Right.
creating a positive feedback loop that can attract even more good things into our lives.
And it's not just about feeling grateful when things are going well.
Yeah.
The book suggests practicing gratitude even when we're faced with difficulties.
Okay.
Recognizing the lessons and opportunities for growth that those challenges present.
Finding that silver lining, even amidst adversity, can be transformative.
Yeah.
It's about recognizing that even difficult experiences can serve a purpose in our journey.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into It Works,
Okay.
I think it's safe to say that this little book offers a wealth of wisdom even almost a century after it was first published.
Yeah, I think so too.
But ultimately, it's up to each individual to decide what resonates with them.
Right.
To integrate these ideas in a way that aligns with their values.
Uh-huh.
And to approach self-improvement with a critical and balanced perspective.
Well said. The journey of self-discovery and personal growth is ongoing.
It is.
It works, provides some intriguing tools and perspectives.
Right.
But the true power lies within each of us.
Yeah.
It's about tapping into our own inner wisdom, trusting our intuition, and taking consistent action towards the life we envision for ourselves.
And who knows, maybe it works.
Maybe so.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.